everybody, and welcome back to episode 21 of Read This Way, a manga and anime podcast with myself, Bradley, and my co-host, Logan.
Hey. Yeah. We are the sleepiest anime manga podcast on the net.
Man, it's because it's been raining so much. I'm just so sleepy.
Yeah, it's like every ounce of me has been pushed towards the earth, and I just want to curl up under the ground and have a good snooze.
Yeah. Ahoy, hoy, Jack. It's funny.
Right.
We probably do need to start learning C language. Oh wow! See how
did you just say C language?
I did say C language. I was thinking like pirate lingo.
I was just assumed you were talking to dolphins. We're completely different wavelength there.
I've been watching a lot of One Piece. Anyway, my whole joke was that because it's raining so much that we're all gonna fly. But
no,
firing not on all pistons today.
It's gonna be Waterworld.
Well, that's the whole point of One Piece is that it's all it's one.
Don't go being logical, Jack.
That's the one. That's what I meant. The seafaring terms, like starbound and port side.
Yeah, stop talking.
Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Well,
topics at hand, because a lot of amazing things have happened this week.
Yes. So we're kicking off the big anime season with Bleach coming back, Chainsaw Man dropping, Mob Psycho coming back, Spy Family coming back, My Hero Academia coming back. Like this season is very full with scallywags.
Scallywag.
Yeah. But yeah, so kicking straight off the bat, in preparation of Bleach coming back, I felt like now was the perfect opportunity to finally give the manga a chance. And I'm now 300 chapters in, and I think I kind of understand what people's problems with Bleach and its repetitive feeling is. I don't necessarily think that it is repetitive. It's just extremely formulaic when it does its invasions. The Soul Society arc to its Hueco Mundo arc is almost identical in terms of formulation. It's very paint by numbers shonen, and
it was peak shonen, wasn't it? It was at the time when everybody was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But the only one doing something different was One Piece. So
I think the issue is that the formula was too cookie cutter. So up until I finished the Soul Society arc, and that whole like 200 chapters roughly, maybe. Actually, it would be about 50 for the Substitute Soul Reaper arc, which is like your first little taste of everything, world building, character development, and setup. And actually knowing what I know from how the series kind of plays out later on, not everything, but enough. It's amazing how much foreshadowing is actually in those 50 chapters.
Yeah.
Even to the point of stuff that I actually haven't even gotten up to in the anime when I was watching Bleach, or even past some of my prior knowledge. It's pretty impressive. And I think once we have that little bit of a slowdown in between the Soul Society arc and then Hueco Mundo, where we're getting introduced to these humanoid hollows, and Ichigo is trying to... he's dealing with his own hollow powers, which was very reminiscent of how they kind of did the setup with the Soul Reapers. and then Orihime gets kidnapped as opposed to Rukia being kidnapped. It's very similar, I will admit, but a lot of the beats feel very different. So at the start of the Quaker Mundo, I can definitely see what people's issues with it be feeling repetitive. But once you start to you get past it a little bit and you start to learn more about the characters that Aizen's working with, the evil team essentially, um, it starts to open up a lot more. And I'm about 300 chapters in, so I think it's just under halfway. I think there's like 650 chapters or something. Um,
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, there's quite a few.
yeah,
Quite a
and
few.
if the um, if the following arcs follow suit in the same sort of formula, then I understand what people's gripes are with the series.
Yeah.
But
But look, if the only
yeah,
gripe you've got is people saying that it's a little bit repetitive,
yeah. But damn tight Kubo just drips style into every panel.
I feel like yeah, there's a lot of style and substance in the way he designs his characters and the way he presents them personality wise. They're just like they're kind of like the supermodel of the
Oh yeah,
of the
it
shonen period. You know, they're like
was
they're
very
the characters that you want to be.
it was like you had Clamp, which was like the very feminine
Mm,
supermodel aesthetic, and then you've got Bleach, which is like the indie grunge
yeah,
male model sort of aesthetic. It still had that roughness to it, but it was very pretty people.
yeah, yeah. Pretty
Um,
people in stylish clothing and giant
I mean,
swords. You can't go wrong.
it, it's kind of got like Ichigo's character is very reminiscent of a lot of delinquent type
Yeah,
manga characters as well. So it's kind of funny reading the first 50 chapters, and it's very um, delinquent supernatural. It's very weird. I forgot how grounded it is
yeah. I
in
was
that
gonna say
first little arc.
those first 50 chapters are very grounded. They
Honestly,
you
I
almost feel
felt
like a slice of life
yeah.
um,
Um,
series.
definitely could have. I forgot about this because it's like 150 chapters ago now. Actually 250. God, I can't count. uh, the first 50 chapters were admittedly a little bit harder to get through pacing wise, only because a lot of things nowadays are a lot faster paced when they are doing that initial setup. Like you look at um, Ginka and Luna, it's like
Yeah,
one chapter in, and it's got everything laid out for you.
but they have to.
But yeah,
They have to because of the chopping block.
yeah,
They want they want everything as quick as possible, but they want you to keep producing that as quick as possible. It just yeah, I think we're going to start losing out on those, or they're going to take a step back and let the creators grow a lot more.
yeah.
And I don't know what direction they're going to head in. I
I'm
hope they let them grow a bit more.
yeah. I do feel like Manga Plus is a good step in the right direction, but it seems to be really mismanaged between like there could be a lot of synergy happening there between Jump and Jump Plus.
Yeah,
But there just doesn't seem to be a lot of crossover there. A little
no,
bit, but not a huge amount.
I think Jump Plus is striving very hard to introduce people to a platform or a title that they can purchase in a hard copy sense. I think they're more
Yeah.
driven towards sales for a hard copy environment as opposed to just letting people read digitally,
Yeah.
which makes sense. It's a free platform. It's why wouldn't it do that?
Yeah.
Which is fine. I don't mind purchasing the manga for it. I like hard copies of things, but there's only so much space we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's gotten to a point where I had to limit the amount of manga that I'm buying, mainly due to One Piece. I have more One Piece than I have anything else. Like, I have more One Piece than I have everything else collectively combined.
Did you see? I sent you a link about that guy who has bound One Piece into one book.
There was a big debacle online about his art piece of combining all 100 volumes.
100?
Yeah, there's 1,000 chapters.
10 chapters per volume.
Hang on, let me double check.
I thought there's only like 6 max.
Hang on.
You know, Tankaban. I mean, he might have just done 100 because, let's be realistic here. It's doing anything more than that's insane.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
But
it was pretty crazy. That was a big book.
It was a massive book. Yeah, roughly about, I think the 101's just been released.
Yep. Okay.
But yeah, because he put his name on the art piece as opposed to putting Oda's name on the art piece, so a lot of the One Piece fanboys jumped on that real quick.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, "Calm down! It's an art piece."
He didn't make the art that's in the art. He made the art around the art.
It's a bit of a weird one, that one, but yeah. It definitely was impressive. Like, that thing was huge. I think I've got there'd be roughly, I think I've got 60 something volumes of One Piece. They come in big box sets.
Yeah.
So I've just bought 3 box sets. Because one, it comes in a nice little protective carry case. So I don't have to put it in my bookshelf.
That's right.
I can make room for more manga. Well, what else have you been reading, mate? We talked a bunch about Bleach.
Oh, you know what? So as far as reading goes, I've actually I've skimmed right back. So for some reason, I've had a lot less time recently than I normally do for reading. So I've cut right back to the regulars. So as per usual, one of my first go-tos is Sakamoto, which over the past 2 weeks has been, it has just been beautiful.
It is incredible.
The setup for what's going to be one of the biggest showdowns of action we've seen in manga for a little while. It's going to be hectic.
Cannot wait for this thing to get announced with an anime. I need to see some of this stuff animated.
Yeah,
just
I don't know.
Fights, man.
I don't know how they're going to handle that. I just hope they don't, because he's got such an old school action feel to him. I would kind of hate it if they did push CG through on the action for that.
Yeah.
I'd much prefer a hand-drawn, even if it is a little bit choppier, it's not as clean, I don't care. I would rather have that, speaking of Mob Psycho, the feel, what Bones did with Mob Psycho is giving it that real hand-drawn feel, and I would love to see that in Sakamoto as well, as little CG as possible, because it's just got that really grounded mid-80s hitman noir vibe to it.
I think I'd be happy if they used CG in assistance, but if we
backgrounds and stuff, I don't mind.
If we go like percentage wise, I'd be like 80-20, 80% CG and 20% hand drawn.
Yeah. No.
No. Absolutely not.
I'm sorry, I'd have to actually stop watching anime at that point. Um,
Well, I mean, at that point, I would assume that the CG would be much better than it is today.
Even still, I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell. I can see every piece of CG and animation, and it's kind of a curse that I can see and feel everything. I know when they've just that background character. I know it's CG, and
I
that's one of those things that really killed me about Demon Slayer. It's just it's
see.
the CG is on point, but it still feels because their hand drawn stuff is such a high quality. You can still see the difference,
Yeah.
and
I didn't really notice much when I watched
no,
it. I think I
and
was
this is
just
the
blown
thing,
away by it being pretty.
and most people are like that.
I was
But
like, "Whoa, shiny!"
I'll be sitting there watching it, and I'm just like, here's uh, what's the main character's name? It's so in
Tanjiro?
like the
Tanjiro?
Tundra, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's like the third or fourth episode. He's walking with his sister out. That's right. He's walking with his sister out to go to the test.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's going by himself. He's going by himself
Yes.
to go to the test, and he's walking through the fields. The parallax in the fields in the foreground is so distinctly different to the character animated in the background. It was, to me, a little bit disjointed because it was just too smooth in the
I
background and foreground. And then, but you may not care, you may not see that, and
I'm an
that's
intelligent
fine.
human, and I know what parallax means. But for our couple of viewers, would you mind explaining?
Okay, so it's that it's the sense of depth that's used to trick the mind into thinking that something's got depth. So parallaxing means that the object closest to the camera moves slower than the object that's in the background.
Okay.
So in the fields, you had the first row of plants, and then the second row and the third row, and each one moves at a different pace because as the camera's panning past, the one at the front's going to go faster than the one at the back because of the way the lens works and the field of
Yeah.
view. So creating parallax with movement like that, and I think it's just because of the years of looking at 2D games and stuff like that, I'm just used to seeing that smooth motion that's
Yeah.
happening,
Yep.
and
Yep.
then
Yep.
to see the hand drawn animation in there, it just to me feels jarring,
Yep. Yep.
and it's just stuff like that that irritates me. So I'm not bagging. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. I'm
Breaks the
just saying
immersion
I
for
know.
you.
I don't. Yeah, there's certain times where it can be used well.
Yeah.
Um, best use of CG in an animation, Gurren Lagann.
There
Like, yeah,
was
there's
there
plenty of
CG.
CG. Yeah, there's plenty of CG.
Man, it's
Oh
been
no,
so
not
long
Gurren
since
Lagann.
I've.
Sorry, Kill la Kill, Kill la Kill. They've got quite a bit of CG in there. But there's a scene in the first episode where one of the students is being chased down a set of stairs,
Yeah.
and they just went, "We don't want to draw the stairs." So they put them in
Uh
CG,
huh.
but
Yep.
because stairs is simple and the way Trigger's animation works, it didn't matter. You couldn't tell because the character is so ridiculous and disjointed and misshapen
I
that
don't think it's the same section that I'm thinking of, but all I can think of is the Gumagori section where he's like progressively getting bigger, crawling through the high school corridors. 'Cause
uh
he was never on model.
no, he always grew each scene, didn't he? Which is great. That's just
It
one
was
of the great moments in that series. It is. It's
I
such a
love it.
beautiful series. But yeah, it's just getting back on track again. If they do Sakamoto, I want it hand drawn. I would love Bones to do it. I
Yeah.
think they've got the guts behind them to do something like that,
What
and
are
to
we
keep
at?
it grounded.
We're like 70 something chapters. Does that sound about right?
We are in. Oh, I had it up just a second ago. 90. Not far off
We
cracking
are
100.
we are definitely in the realms of it getting an anime announcement.
And it's damn well popular enough to get one. It's just whether a studio's got the guts to take it on board, because it's pretty full on.
Or if they're even shopping it around.
Yeah, true.
Not sure how it actually
Indeed.
works. Like who approaches whom. Maybe it's
I'm
case by
sure it goes.
case.
I'm sure it goes vice versa. I
Yeah.
imagine there are studios out there that, hunt for a particular series, or there are publishers out trying to get their stuff going. What else have I been reading? Marriage Toxin, of course, is another
Yes.
weekly. That thing just is such an amazing cast of characters.
I
And
feel like we're ramping up to something big too.
I feel like we're definitely starting to drive into that. I'm not going to say turf war, more family war style environment. They're starting to lay the ground for the hierarchy and the structure of these families, and that character at the end of the most recent chapter, which dropped today. I think it was today.
The the hunter of the
just the random dude with a knife. He just looked like an average everyday guy.
Hi guys.
Yeah, he just turned up. Everybody else is so blown out and crazy, giant spears and drawn on freaking ties and stuff like that. And here's this guy in a t-shirt with a knife.
Crab tattoo. Centipede tattoos.
I love the centipede guy. He's great.
Yeah.
He's great. All the characters are great. They're all so enjoyable. So if you're not reading it, jump on board. It's real early still, so it's only 23 chapters in.
It's getting close to the that 30 chapter mark. And have you noticed something about the Manga Plus chapters? Like there doesn't seem to be that looming axe.
No, they're so much more relaxed. Yeah, so much more relaxed.
Admittedly, I am behind with most of my other Mega Plus stuff. I think Marriage Toxin is one of the few that I'm still keeping up with. I need to catch up on. Oh yeah, they did it. Well, yeah. You have to go through hoops to read it on Jump.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Dan and Marriage Toxin. I need to catch up on Exorcist Falls in Love, or Make the Exorcist Fall in Love.
Yeah. I've kind of dropped off a bit on those. What I did pick up though, what I have picked up, and I know you haven't picked it up yet, is Skeleton Double.
No, it's one of the ones that I was going to, and then I got distracted.
I started reading it because actually I really like the cover image. I'm just like, this looks interesting. And the first couple of chapters, I was just like, this feels weird. Like it's not. It almost feels like it's not meant to be a comic book. It should have been a TV series. Like I could easily see this series on whatever those American networks that do weird fantasy style series and stuff. HBO and stuff like that. There's definitely a series you'd expect from that, because it's really well grounded, but it's also developing a universe very smoothly. It's not giving you those info dumps in those, it's not like they do this big fight and something happens and then they info dump and then they do that thing and then they carry on to the next info dump. It just smoothly gives you the information, tidbits at a time, and you learn the information like the main character learns the information. So he doesn't learn everything at once. It sort of just dribbles through to him as he's thrown into all these circumstances. So to give you a general rundown of what it's about.
Shoot. Lay it on me, brother.
So it's about this boy, regular, run-of-the-mill, everyday guy. Except,
aren't they always?
When he was a kid, his father was murdered in the middle of Tokyo. Wasn't just a regular murder. He was lifted like 12 feet off the ground and then stabbed through the chest by an invisible whatever. It was all caught on film and stuff like that. So
interesting.
Suddenly he became this like celebrity and people were at him all the time. So over the years, so it's gone from him being that sort of 10-year-old, 8-year-old, 10-year-old, up to him now being, I think, 17, 18.
Yep.
I know he's about 18. I think he's in university, so he's gotten a lot older and he's learnt to keep completely under the radar. So his whole idea is to be as plain as
A-
possible and
as
completely out of it.
invisible.
Essentially, yeah, he's become as invisible as he can. He's just living life like a normal kid, and then I say kid, he's an adult. Um,
Barely.
barely, just.
Barely.
So one of these days, in the first chapter, he receives a package, and inside the package is a
Child.
box, a box that has nothing in it.
Yeah.
So there's not a child. There's children in the box.
No, I said I'm a
There's-
child because
yes,
I laughed at the package.
and the package in the box.
Adults.
100%. So he opens it up. There's nothing inside, and then something pops out of like a confetti or something pops out of the box, and he passes out. He then wakes up to someone saying, "Hey, wake up!" And he gets up and he looks around, and nobody's around. And then suddenly inside the box, there's a skull.
Oh.
Yeah, the skull looks weird. It's kind of cartoony. It's got like exclamation marks in opposite directions for eyes, which looks kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I see.
And he goes on to explain and goes, "Hey, you now have skeleton powers," and you're just like,
Cool,
"What?
don't we
What
all?
the hell? What the hell is skeleton powers?" And he looks in the mirror and he's like, he's invisible,
Yeah.
right? So it turns you invisible and then back
Right.
again, okay? And
Does
you're
it
just
also
like,
change his
"Oh,
hand?
okay." So, well, this is the thing. So at the start, this is that info dump thing that I was talking about. So at the start, he's like, I've granted you the power to turn invisible, or what would you like to do with that power? I can help you achieve your life stream." And the kid's like, "I don't want to do anything," because he just wants to
Sick.
stay under the radar. And I love his friends. He's like, so what would you guys do if you had this power? And they're just like, to the girls'
Typical
change room.
girls. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all your typical stuff.
Typical boys.
Yeah. So it's got some really nice sort of slice of life moments in it, but it's got a real fantasy um, vibe to it as well. So he starts getting stuck into these battles and stuff with these people that also have skeleton powers. At the time, he doesn't realize that the skeleton powers are actually more than just invisibility. They have, the ability to enhance and strengthen your body, and everybody has a particular unique um, skeleton skill that allows them to do a certain thing. He still hasn't
Right.
discovered his. We're 6 chapters in. He still doesn't know what his power is, which is good. Then they're just sort of leaking it out as it goes. And the art style is it's real. I'm gonna say it's got kind of like a '90s vibe to it.
Mm.
Um, it's it's definitely not like the current strain of stuff, which is real. Ha, I wouldn't say Trojan powers as such. Yeah, maybe kind of.
Spoopy.
Um, it's it is a little bit spooky. They got some crazy powers. One of the guys has the ability to make things twist.
I just saw him.
Yeah,
I'm just flicking through the pages. The
and
arms.
it's got to do with like this liquid. They can throw out this liquid, and whatever the liquid touches, it makes things spin in opposite directions,
Weird.
such as limbs and vehicles and poles and all sorts of things. So it's really interesting to see how the characters use their skills and their powers, and I think that's one of the factors that will drive this forwards. I can't see it running for a long time.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if it hits 100 chapters, to be honest. Um, but
I'll
I
have to
hope
get
it
around to it.
does. I hope it does continue because it is a really interesting concept,
There
and
was four
enjoyable to
that
read.
sorry, there was
Yeah,
like
that's right.
four that dropped like about 7 weeks ago. That was one of them. The other one that I was really interested in is Tokyo Underworld. Have you had a chance to look at that one yet?
I keep seeing the picture and I'm like, that looks really dark and interesting.
Mm.
Um,
Just a quick summary because I haven't read it at all, so I might attempt to catch up on the 4 new ones for the next podcast. But according to urban legend, the guilty are sentenced to fall to the Tokyo underworld, and there they are given no mercy and are mercilessly okay
yeah, we got you.
mercilessly judged for their crimes in the cruelest ways imaginable. And that's pretty much all you get, and it was like a spooky, ominous. I don't really know what he is, to be honest.
Oh,
Is it
nice. Yeah, it's definitely got some horror vibes going here.
It looks pretty spoopy, and I'm for it.
Yeah, it's definitely horror. So that's this is the first time I reckon I've seen a like a proper horror
Well, it looks like they dropped
title.
2 horror thriller titles. So you've got Tokyo Underworld, and then the other one that dropped was The Dark Doctor Ikaru. Both of them seem to kind of give off that borderline Senin vibe.
Yeah.
Whereas what I assumed, Skeleton Double and Ghostbuster Osamu, I thought were like a bit more wacky. I don't know about Skeleton Double anymore, but
No, it's definitely seinen.
yeah,
It's not like it's not hardcore, but the way it's written and the way it's displayed is definitely not for kids.
yeah.
It's not geared towards kids at all. So
But yeah, those are
right.
the 4 that got added to Manga Plus 7 weeks ago.
We're keeping on top of stuff, right?
Hell yeah, we are.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like the actually
Uh,
Oshinoko is now all on Manga Plus, available to read for free now.
yeah, I saw that.
Completely up to date. So now they're going to be simul-publishing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good work. Good
Which is
work.
going to suck for people that were reading it when they were dropping like 5 chapters a week. Now you're down to 1.
binge 1 episode a week.
That's the way.
Yeah.
And the other one that they dropped a whole bunch of chapters for was Hunter x Hunter, because it's starting up its publication shortly again.
Yeah.
So yeah, they dropped. I think there's like 300 chapters of that, and they dropped all of that onto the Jump app.
Nice.
So that everyone can catch up, which I thought they would have done months ago. When they
to
like
give people
started,
time.
yeah, like when they were announcing, oh, he's back at work. Oh, look at all these updates. I'm like, surely soon enough they'll bring it to Jump.
They just didn't want to jump the gun, I think.
Or that, or they were trying to get a bit more money out of people, maybe.
Yeah, sell the books, maybe.
Yeah.
Last time we were chatting, you said you were a little bit worried about Aliens Area.
I am still.
You still
yeah,
worried?
I am
not
terrified.
Worried. I'm actually kicking back and relaxing. I think it's just quirky pacing.
That seems to be the consensus I'm seeing on the chapter section. Sorry, the comment section. It's people freaking out about the acts coming, and people being like, "Nah, just chill. It's just the pacing's weird."
Yeah,
and I just honestly I don't know where I.
You
sit.
go back and read like the first 12 chapters, and you tell me that the pacing's not weird.
Maybe I have to, but I mean,
it's janky. Like he just skips time.
The way that this one ended,
scale.
Yeah, look, Jujutsu messed me up when I first read that.
That stuff just jumps all over the place. It
was just like hard cut. And weirdly enough, Bleach does the cut, like the hard cuts as well. And there has been a couple. It's a lot less noticeable, but there has been a couple of times where I've been jarred in a similar sense to uh, the one that I just said.
Jujutsu. Yeah.
Thank you.
The one where you have to flip backwards and forwards
Yeah,
to find out where what just happened.
Yeah, and admittedly, I did the one time. One of the times that I did get jarred, there was like that panel breakup that we still don't know the name for yet. The
Yeah. I don't think there's an official name for it. I
I don't
think
know
it's
if there is.
like on TV how they go woo,
Yeah,
and
this
things
is just
happen.
the transition. It's like
Yeah.
a hard printed transition.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I
Which
don't
is
know.
fine.
I hadn't had any issues with Aliens area. I was just so
You were
fully
just
in.
taken by all the character design and
I
the
was just like
weird developments.
everything.
Yeah, because it kind of just throws stuff at you. They're just like, oh yeah, you can use this thing now, and by the way, your arm extends into a big giant black claw, and the training for that's over. You've already done that like 1 page ago.
Maybe it's the ADD, bro. I don't know.
It's just it really does jump around a lot. So I'm not actually that worried about it because they are still they're still just pushing along. And I know that the most recent chapter seems like some sort of end piece, but at the same time, it doesn't look like an end piece at all. It looks like it's just a doorway into more questions as to how or why these people operate the way they do.
I hear you, but I raise you that we're at 18 chapters. They could be getting 12 chapters to wrap up.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't believe. I really don't believe. I reckon it's got the vibe to push past it. I really do.
It's so good. I don't know what it is about it.
It's different. It's just different.
Yeah. It's the series that I wanted when I was 10 after watching Men in Black. That is exactly what it is. Actually, wait, we had the Men in Black cartoon series. I forgot about that. It feels similar.
Yeah, but it wasn't not as aggressive.
No. And when it really stepped up that that chapter where they just murdered everybody that they'd been setting up for the last like 3 chapters. Yeah, that was when I was like, oh yes, this is and that's when I started to get really nervous.
Yeah, no, I looked at the way they set this up. I looked at it and went, they're about to clean house. He's set up the structure of how everything operates, but all of that's going to be turned onto its head because all these factions and parts of the alien Area 5 people, they're all going to die. And then it's just going to be those 2 left behind. And
well, I mean, the ones that we have spent the most time with aren't in the field.
No.
Because they were a rookie team because everyone else died when they went and attacked them the last time. So this is very clever. I do like.
Yeah, I think it's a setup to create that environment that's going to give them the drive to push forwards. Because at the moment he's still pretty chill. He's still very rules only kind of feel to him, whereas our MC's very emotional still. And, I think there's a lot of growth to go. And so I have no issues. Yeah, I mean, you can yell and scream at me in 14 weeks if they do decide to axe it.
I don't want to be right. I want you to be right.
Then just agree with me. Agree with me, and
I'm too scared.
No.
How are you?
How am I? I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I was just gonna ask how you're feeling about the 2 new series. Tokyo Demon Bride story and Ginka and Luna.
Neither of which I've actually kept up to date with. I actually really want to get back into Ginkgo Luna because
Yeah,
that actually struck up a bit of feeling for me. I felt like that was going to be a good series. Had a lot of great groundwork in that
it
first issue.
does. 5 chapters in, it's setting up.
Still
I'm
setting up.
hoping a little core cast that we're gonna keep with us for a little bit of like, including the main two. We'll have like 4 people in total, but we might have 5 depending on what happens in the next chapter.
Right. It's just
Yeah.
that first issue gave me some real hard Red Hood vibes,
Mhm.
and I just don't know if it's going to survive.
So far, it it's feeling pretty strong. Um, it feels like it's got stronger legs than Red Hood, mainly
Yeah,
because we're already out of that starting area and we've just hit the ground running into an adventure where Red Hood struggled after that first village to kind of solidify itself,
yeah, yeah. I think
which,
after that first village, which was a great like little
yeah,
mini arc, that was
yeah,
such an exceptional piece of work. After that point, I feel like the editor was like, "Okay, now you've got to. Here's the cookie cutter.
yeah.
This
Here's
is
the
what we need
formula
to.
that we
Yeah,
installed in Bleach.
this is what you need to do."
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I that's where it did fall down. It was starting to do too much setup.
yeah.
Took too long. So if it, okay, I'll pick it up again soon and start chowing down on those chapters. But
And
Demon Bride just I don't know. I just don't need it in my life right now. That's what it is.
it's
I
really,
just it's cute.
I
Yeah.
don't know where exactly it's heading, but it's adorable and wholesome, and I love it. Oh god, that came
There
out
we
of
go.
nowhere. Um, yeah, no, it's really adorable. The comedy hits pretty like. I, there's been a few times where I'm reading through and will audibly laugh, as opposed to just being like a,
Yeah. A little smile.
yeah. Um, I think, is it Monica, the main girl, the demon bride.
Hmm.
So far, I feel like she's carrying most of the story at the moment. We there needs to be a little bit more premise going on. They've done
Yeah,
really
that's
well
where I
setting
yeah.
setting everything else up. Um,
There's no direction yet.
I mean, a little bit, but it's literally just like that first strand. There's more spirits coming into Tokyo, and she wants to protect herself. Oh, sorry, not herself. She wants to protect her. Why
Fiance.
can't I brain? Thank you. Her fiance and his family, because they've been so nice to her and whatnot, and she's integrated quite well with the people in his life, and she wants to keep this place safe, and she has the power to do so. She feels that she needs to, and they've kind of now shifted into a kind of like a yokai hunting side business. So he was set up as a doing all these odd jobs, and so now they've kind of started this business within the business that he was working at.
He's
And
turned into a spiritual detective.
well, no, he's bait.
Oh, okay. Same,
Yeah,
same.
they basically use his blood as bait or to investigate, because his blood is also drawn to spirits, so they use it almost like a compass. And um yeah, we don't really have much more than that.
no,
But
no.
it's real
Well,
pretty, and the gags are hitting, so I'm okay at the moment.
okay. That's all
And
right.
it's not. Wait, is it? No, it is a jump title. No, I do have to be scared about it. Sugar.
I think you'd be right though.
Yeah,
They do tend to like the cute
yeah.
stuff. I mean,
It
look at
feels
Spy
like,
Family. It's still going.
yeah, it feels like an action Witch Watch. But admittedly, I haven't read much Witch Watch in a while, so I don't know how much action's going on in there. But
Yeah.
it kind of feels like a middle ground between Aishimon and Witch Watch. Like it's got the cutesy, it's got the action, and it's kind of like in that middle.
Sitting in the middle,
So,
not taking
yeah.
itself too seriously.
No, it's definitely leaning into that gag, like especially with the last chapter.
Yeah.
The two sisters convince Manaka that essentially one of like the stage Power Rangers that they have over there was an actual hero, and so she goes down to the supermarket to get a bottle of drink or whatever for one of the sisters, and runs into one of the performers still wearing his mask because he needs to take a dump, and she's all like, she's enamored, and he's like, wow, this kid's bit weird, but all right. And she's like, can I shake your hand? And I protect the city too. And he's like, okay. And then he gets back in the car, and you see in the back seat the villain that he's meant to be protecting the city from traveling with him. And so she starts chasing after the van, and makes her way to the stage where they're doing their performance. And turns out just she goes to draw her blade on the dude in the costume that's the monster. And turns out it's the fiance helping out a couple of friends. But man,
Very convenient.
it was pretty good. The whole bit was like the whole chapter, and it was well done. I enjoyed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
But what were you going to say?
What was I going to say? I was going to say before we start jumping into the meat of our topic, I was going to quickly go over how crazy cool Dan is still.
Yeah, yeah.
Still. I don't think there has been one flat chapter since the start. I haven't read a chapter where I've gone, this is a bit of a slog.
The closest would be the new character that they added in, but he's already grown on me at this stage. So
yeah, a lot of people had trouble with him. As soon as he came in, I was just like, I love to hate this guy. He was like the guy that you just don't want to like.
He was the like. You've got the two otakus now. You've got the Okaroon, and I don't even remember what the guy's name is, but you've got like the good otaku and the gross otaku. Like you've got the normal-ish dude who's just a nerd about a couple of things, and you got the one that's just like a little bit gross and a bit of a neckbeard.
Yeah, he's just he is like atypical, just otaku, right? He's just like spot on. And his behavior is just so stupid. It just matches in so well. I think there were a lot of people worried about the whole stereotype introducing the pervert into the group and all that sort of stuff. I think he blends in really well because he's still got that stupid sense of humor and timing. It's all about the timing with the series. They just drop in out of nowhere, or you'll get their little face with a speech bubble on it as they talk in the background.
It seems like he has definitely slotted in more comfortably with Okaroon and Gigi, and the girls absolutely hate him. Just despise him.
Which is great. That's the dynamic they need.
Yeah.
They.
And Gigi's just gotten so much dumber, and I love him.
The faces he keeps pulling, and what's with his like little antennas that he's got in this most recent chapter?
I don't know.
I reckon there over the past like 6 chapters, there's been like 4 panels where he's had a normal face.
If that.
All the other times, he's just like. Yeah, doing something stupid in the background.
So dumb. I love him so much. He is probably my favorite character, I think. Just because every time I see him, I just feel warm. He's so...
Yeah.
he's just the best. He's
The
like that.
one lovable guy.
He's that best friend that everybody loves, and he's probably manically depressed.
Until he takes his shirt off and everybody's like, oh my God.
God damn.
Yeah. Because we keep forgetting that he's like the sports jock of the
Shredded.
school. Yeah. And that he's probably super popular with all the girls. I did really like the extra little bit of the class president we got this chapter.
It's funny how much of a harem it feels
Yeah,
like,
it's starting to build that way, but not.
it's high school. So it makes sense for it to be just raging hormones and all the characters wanting certain characters. It's weird that Okarun is like the stud at the
centerpiece.
moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the most unbelievable side of it, but they've chosen 3 really good characters to fall for him, because you've got like our 2 main characters that have been through XYZ with him. Makes sense why they've fallen for him. Then you've got Class Prez, who is what you would expect.
Yeah.
Someone to fall to look like to fall in love with
She's
him.
the regular crush.
Yeah.
The
She's like the
normal.
stereotype, right?
4, by the way. There's 4.
Wait, there's 4. Who's the?
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah. Well, I'm not counting Valome. Alien girl.
I was gonna say Gigi.
Turbo Granny. Oh, Gigi. He's the 4th girl.
He's the 4th girl. He is, because they love each other so much. It's great.
They're not.
Their friendship
no
has gotten it's gotten so good.
Oh man,
I don't know what to make of this.
Everything about the series is so good. The Gigi story, that
was such a good arc. It had so much depth,
and it set up so much going forward too.
And the artwork in it was just phenomenal. I reckon he eased off on the action a little bit after that arc because it was so unrelenting.
Yeah,
the double page spreads. He did like 6 during that arc.
We've just jumped into like a 2 weeks of Split Mouth Woman, which again was pretty full on with the action.
I like the spook coming back though.
Yeah.
It's nice. The alien's great, but I like the spook.
I can never decide what I want more, the spook, the aliens, or just the slice of life. Honestly, everything about the series is just done so well, and I don't know how it keeps hitting such high heights week after week.
Yeah, it is. And when it comes down to it, the whole series, well, from say chapter 4, maybe 5, right up till now, has been about Okarun's balls.
Yeah.
We still
don't have his second nut.
We're assuming that his second nut is some form of mystical power they use on other planets. Now,
that explains the alien abductions.
Yes, man, it's all coming together.
We got to harvest male testicles from this one planet. No, that's a dumb battery source, man.
Oh, it's so good. The fact that it's all centered around that is just it's just phenomenal.
Well, have we come to the conclusion that the ball that Vamola, that's her name, is using to power her suit the same as Okarun's nut, or like
it's similar? So it could be a condensed spiritual energy.
I guess we'll have to find out
power in it, because it seems to have the same characteristics, but
only when it's in the suit.
Yes,
because it's when it's not in the suit, it just looks like a dingy mothball almost.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when she gets her translator.
I am so happy that they're pushing it further and further back.
Yeah,
because this lost in translation stuff is brilliant.
It is,
and I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy her when she actually has her translator.
Probably it'll break real quick. She'll get it for a small period of time, and then it will either go haywire or get broken in a fight.
Or the subterranean dude that we wait, was he what the subterranean that came to wait, no, the subterraneans were the ones in Gigi's story.
They're the ones with the. Yeah.
And the other
Which
one that
ones
we're
you
seeing recently is another alien, potentially her fiance, maybe.
potentially someone chasing her in
Yeah,
general? Yeah.
wants to beat her, but she keeps beating him, so he can't marry her.
But the fact that he's come down for the other aliens is interesting.
I think it was just that was where he kind of landed and
I
encroached
don't
on the
know.
territory. Maybe I don't know if it was intentional.
Yeah.
It felt accidental
Did it? I thought
to
it
me,
felt a little
anyway.
bit intentional.
A little bit deliberate, you reckon?
We'll find out. But that's clearly a big arc coming up.
Yeah,
There's something big happening there,
we're
which is good.
getting
So pumped.
all
Keep
right.
it coming.
We've been dancing around it enough. There was a few times I was going to segue into it when we were talking about the CGI.
Yeah.
But I will use that as a segue to talk about the CGI in Chainsaw Man.
Chainsaw Man.
Use the talking about a segue as a segue. Next level shit
Same.
right there.
Same.
So I just watched it like at 7:00, so just before we started. Just the opening alone, man. There was so many references to like movies. It was like Fujimoto was like, guys, can we incorporate my love for films into the OP for Chainsaw Man? And they were like, shit, yeah, man, this would be awesome. And I think it's Kenshin is the guy that does the opening song, and that slaps. Just everything about the goddamn series so far is amazing.
You can see the love.
10 out of 10.
There's love. So everybody who watches this channel, they know that we love this. It could have been absolute rubbish, and we're still gonna love it because we love
absolute bias.
We are 100%. But there has been a little bit of discussion, I guess, or a split amongst the community.
It was definitely leading. I was seeing it leading up to the release because people got to see early release at some convention. I don't remember where it was. I think it was in America somewhere. And I think that was like a week or two ago. And so people were like, oh, the CGI looks like trash. And so people were getting real nervous about it. And admittedly, like what you were saying, it feels like there's a lot more in there than I was expecting as well. But so far, it's looking pretty good. Hey, Trusty.
How we going?
Excellent. Was there any questions you want to ask us now that you've got us live? We're just talking about Chainsaw Man at the moment.
Yeah. So if you're worried about spoilers or anything, which you shouldn't be because it's the first episode.
Only one episode.
Yeah. And really, we're probably more covering the technical aspect at this point. It's as we discuss the CG inside this particular and the growing trend. Let's be realistic here. Let's
it's
go
Mappa.
overarching.
It's what they do. It seems like they're using more CG in this than they used in Jujutsu, or at least it's more noticeable. I'm probably going to rewatch it after I finish.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
To be honest,
I'll get it. I'll probably watch it as well.
Even if it's just the opening.
So the CG in this is completely. It's there. You can see it. I'm not going to lie. It doesn't look trash. It just looks like CG.
Yeah.
And the only reason that it stands out so much is because the amount of love that's gone into the hand-drawn animation. My God, the detail in the hands and the facial expressions and the movement of the characters is just
And the blood.
it's and the way when he pulls his chainsaw out, there's just little bits of viscerous content falling off the blades. It's everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
I was really worried that they weren't going to make it bloody.
Oh,
As
actually,
as bloody as I wanted, really. And
the
but it is.
do you remember what I was talking about a few weeks back about how I was interested to see how they were going to fill out the episodes? And you were like, "Nah, they don't need to fill up anything." The
No.
additional scenes in the first episode, did you notice the extra bits that we got?
I'm gonna have to go back and
You're gonna have
rewatch
to.
and
So
reread. I'm gonna have to do both because once again it's been a while.
yeah, the first initial thing was the opening starts off with the door
The
that
door.
Denji sees.
Yeah.
And then we also got a little bit more I guess kind of stretched out with the zombie devil where Denji's getting murdered. That was stretched out. Not in a bad way.
This is
It
just cinema being cinema. So
absolutely.
they're clearly foreshadowing. So the door's foreshadowing. We knew that it was going to be. And I expect more, way more. So I feel like that they are really pushing for that foreshadowing of especially that door because it plays such a big
Yeah.
centerpiece in the story, and the stretching out of things like the murder scene and stuff like that. I feel like is really driving home the the idea of what they're trying to do here.
Yes.
You're not just watching another Shonen Jump uh, exclusive series that's for bordering teenage, early 20s kind of environment. You're in for a thrill ride of pure insanity and violence and obscene craziness because that's what it is. It's just an amazingly structured piece of crazy.
So, judging by the pacing, I'm going to make the claim that we won't see power until episode 3.
No,
We'll
probably
get
not.
mostly Aki next episode and Makima,
Yeah.
because like I was actually a little bit surprised where it ended with in the first episode. Good
Is it
spot for it to
because
end.
it felt too quick?
Honestly, it felt like there was a lot going on. I finished the episode and I was like, that felt like an hour.
Did it? It's because you were consuming all the
I know,
background.
yeah.
You were just trying to take it in, just trying to go, aha, 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 aha.
Yeah. Um,
All those big open scenes, and
it was also nice how much we saw in the teaser of the first episode as well. We didn't get a
yeah,
lot outside of that first episode.
yeah. I'm starting to feel like the teaser was just cut up bits of the intro and the first
Yeah,
episode,
actually,
essentially. Um,
it
no
was.
outro though.
We will episode 2, I reckon.
You think?
Usually episode 1's the OP and ED
Credits.
are mixed up a whole
Yeah.
bunch. Usually, like sometimes
Okay.
you won't get an OP, but you'll get the OP at the end of the first episode.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with episode 2. I reckon we will have
That's
an
right.
ED. Like we had a song. Whether or not they just don't want to do an animation, if they use that time and energy and money into the show, then yeah, I don't care. I don't need an ending animation.
Otherwise, just bring up the credits. I mean, how often you get to see the proper credit list for a team that was clearly invested
Yeah.
in producing something like this? I guess they're just taking pride in what they did or have done, and will continue to do. But the CG doesn't make it any worse. It doesn't make it. I'm not going to say it makes it any better.
There probably was a couple of times that it felt a little jarring, but it was in like transitional you didn't linger on it for too long,
Yeah,
and as soon as you kind of felt like the CG is kind of a bit noticeable, it went to a close up of Denji talking to the mob guys in the car,
yeah,
where he has to eat the
yeah,
cigarettes, sort of thing.
yeah.
Um, a little bit before that, when he's walking down the street, a little bit jarring, but that was probably the only thing that I noticed, and it really wasn't
It's the
anything
parallax.
big.
That pan
Ah,
is that pan in parallax, man, because the background is so smooth and everything around him is so smooth and he's hand drawn. It's just really noticeable, and it does tear you away a little bit from
yeah.
the feel and the presence of what's happening. But let's be realistic here. When did they announce the anime?
Mm.
Like a year ago, yeah? In order to produce something to the scale and the quality of what we expect in the time frame that they had, holy hell.
I think I think Edge Runners was announced like 3, maybe
Two,
4 years before.
2, 3 years. Yeah, they took and that's visibly understandable. So if you took the quality of what Edge Runners looks like, because it is polished
Yeah,
to the hilts. It is just 100%. There is no taking you out of that animation. It locks you in. There's nothing jarring there.
that was
Um,
probably like the only thing I could grab at
yeah, but
that
that's
I knew the rough sort of turnaround.
yeah. So you're
Even then, they
comparing
might have been
something.
working on that before they were announced it as well. Like,
Well, that's right. That's right.
yeah,
But yeah, you're looking at something that's taken at least twice as long to create, and was all created in house. It's a very different feel, and
yeah.
I feel like there was a little bit of pressure here for Mappa to,
You think?
and not just from the fans, but from the producer, the head of Mappa. He was
Yeah.
clearly a huge fan,
Oh yeah, no, that's what
um,
I like the
and
whole like you've got
yeah,
Mappa exec, you've got the Chainsaw Man fan base, not to mention like the Jujutsu fans that are potentially coming across just for the animation side of things in
yeah, well,
itself.
they're in for a rude shock, aren't they? they thought Jiu-Jitsu was edgy. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
um
Uh, I do
but
look.
well,
I want to point out one thing though: is how freaking cute is Pochita.
I know.
Mm, animated
I,
Pochita is so good.
and I'm like in when they're in the bin, I'm just like, he's gonna talk. What are they gonna do for the voice?
And it's so
and and
cute.
it like there was he does the little bark. I'm like, oh, they're not gonna make him talk. And then yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, just calm down. Watch the goddamn show. Uh
Be so excited. It's just great to see everything come to life, and
yeah.
it really has.
It
Um,
the added movement to these scenes that we've read multiple times over just adds so much extra life to it. And I
yeah,
actually forgot about that the stupid insightful rationale that he comes to when he's facing the zombie devil once he jumps out of the bin and he's fused with Pochita, talking about how it's just human nature to want things, but
yeah,
that first initial talk where he's not blaming them, but like talking about why were you guys so greedy? Why did you always want more, even though you had much more than I already had? But then
yeah,
I wasn't that different because I was not content with my love that Puchita brought me. And from
yeah.
the audience perspective, you're like, no, Denji, you're no, they were exploiting you, dude.
That's right. That's right. And he's such a mellow, simple guy. He
And I
throughout the entire series, he just has one goal on his mind.
And it's funny to like look at it at like face value and be like, ah, haha, the boy wants to touch boobs, boy wants girlfriend, but that's just how he expresses his wants and needs. It's a very like surface level, stupid little boy thing. But like,
Yeah,
if you deconstruct what he actually wants, he says it multiple times in that first episode. He just wants a normal life,
that's right.
and it's very tragic upbringing. And I'm hoping that people don't get stuck on that. Um, I guess sexualized side of the series where it's
Oh, they will.
yeah, I know.
I know. You know,
Three
they.
episode rule. 3 episode rule. Get to power and then you'll be hooked.
That's right. Once we get to power, there will be no going back for people.
And even like I can't stand wait, hang on, let me rephrase. Knowing what I know about certain characters, even watching them in that first episode, it was hard not to
I know.
not to feel those initial emotions again.
I'm just like,
I'm trying
don't
to like
do it.
really trying to
Just walk
tiptoe
away.
around spoilers. But yeah, really good first episode.
Yeah.
I don't want to wait weekly.
It reminds me when I first read those first few chapters, you know, up to chapter 15 and stuff like that. I'm just like, there's something not right with her. Real early on, you know, and even with her being as normal as she is,
Yeah.
I was still like, nah, there's something real wrong going on here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I was just in a real simp kind of mood when I was reading it the first time, and like
you just join the crowd. I mean, there's so many of them out there.
Like rereading it, and like watching it, yeah, exactly. I'm just like, no, how did I not see this? She is so toxic.
Yeah.
Like episode 2, people are gonna be like, I'm sorry, what?
Oh, wait until they get to episode.
I reckon it's probably gonna be like.
I reckon it'll be 12, 10 to 12 somewhere. We'll start to see her true colors a bit more.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know how many episodes we're gonna get, and if they're gonna do a split.
I really hope that that little mini hotel arc that they have that went for quite a few chapters. I hope they make that just one episode, because it felt rather long in the comic.
Absolutely could be one episode.
Yeah, they could power through that real quick.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how the pacing goes, and we'll hope that there's more hand-drawn stuff versus CG. I just feel like they were just trying to get that real edgy, smooth, pretty look. And when it comes down to it, they've gone back to, I don't know, have you seen Dora Hedora?
Yes.
Yeah.
We did Mappa. Yeah, Mappa did do
Mappa did that. And there's an enormous amount of CG in that. Like an absolute enormous amount, to the point where I think most of the characters are CG.
I think
but there's still some hand-drawn stuff throughout.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel super jarring, because I think it's 80% CG, 20% hand-drawn.
I think it's the ratio, man.
Yeah, it's got to get the ratio right. And when it comes to CG and hand-drawn, if you're going to do it, it's got to be one way or the other. You got to pile it on and have too much, or you have to bring it right back to make it simple things like stairs.
Again, I think that's why like Ufotable was so successful with Demon Slayer, was because they had that.
To me, Demon Slayer was jarring.
How far did you get through?
Oh, like, I reckon I got 8 to 10 episodes. Look, I know you
didn't even see the trending episode that like broke Twitter.
I couldn't. I couldn't do it. He just screams and cries too much.
Man,
It's just, and the way he monologues
it's
all
very
of his actions, it's just, it was killing me. And the characters,
Mister, I
like the
don't
whole
like
setup.
words.
No, that's not it so much. It's just like Tanjiro was always, oh yeah, I got to do this move, and it all happens. He does like a whole monologue within a split second while he's about to do some sort of action that explains why he's doing it. Just do the move. We know.
It's very
We know why
shonen.
you're doing the move. Just do it. Sorry,
yeah.
I got to get it out there. It's a lovable series. The characters are great. The world is great. I think the anime did it injustice. I think the manga paces a lot better and looks a lot better, and just I can't hear him crying.
I mean, that was my initial like roadblock with Black Clover. I could not stand all the
screaming.
Oh man, it was so bad. The dub helped, but the manga helps mostly.
When you can't hear them is when it helps.
Yeah, Black Clover's in a weird spot at the moment.
I feel like it should have finished a little while back.
It feels like it's taking a page out of One Piece at the moment. We've gone to like a feudal Japan style like area.
Yeah, because he's clutching at straws. He's trying to keep it going, or the publishers are pushing him to keep it going.
I mean, last arc for Black Clover actually.
Yeah, but so is One Piece. Yeah,
but they're different things.
Last 20 years.
Different. Also, the wording's not 100%. Like, we could be in the last arc or the last saga. We categorize things very differently to how they do it in Japan as well.
Is it no one big really arc, knows. The medium arc, or the little arc,
or the saga that contains all of those arcs?
Yes.
Yeah,
so much.
Actually, ooh. I know I said this last fortnight, but we could be getting. We're still waiting on the devil fruit information, but it's coming soon.
Is this the alien that's giving the information?
I think he's an alien.
Okay.
So it turns out, what was it? Full Metal were the homunculus part of Father in Full Metal Alchemist? Can't remember.
I'd have to read the manga to find out.
Anyway, the big character that we've all been expecting to see has actually split themselves into 7 different people.
Of course he has. Of
course. Yeah.
Because Oda doesn't just do one.
One's a waifu. One's a giant child. Yeah.
Like a baby?
No.
Or just mentally child?
Mentally and appearance-wise. It's just like think like a 6-year-old and then scale them up to being 3 times the size of an adult.
So a giant
child. Giant child.
A child giant.
Semantics.
Yeah, okay, cool.
It's a robot, I think, anyway.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with One Piece. I just love that shit.
Just keep it going.
Yeah.
Forever.
That's right. I think that's almost pretty much everything we were going to talk about.
That's covering all the excitement for the past couple of weeks, I think.
I think so. It feels like My Hero Academia is gearing towards its end. I just don't know anymore. I don't know, man.
You've been saying that for weeks.
I know.
I mean, like, actually, I should say months. I reckon it's been months you've been saying that.
I think it's in its final arc as well.
Yeah.
So it could
because they
be.
had the big giant battle. Have they finished
Could be
the battle yet?
Nope.
No, it's still going.
Nah, but
Okay.
Deku's finally showed up, so
Did he Goku? He
straight
Goku.
up, like he's straight up Goku, man. I'm not even kidding. Like a prominent character gets murdered, and then like 2 chapters later, Deku rocks up and's like, "My friends," and then goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
and
This is
then
in my final form.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then one of the other guys is all like, "Deku, calm down. We're saving him." And then he's like, "Oh, okay."
Chill.
All right, I got this. Yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying Jump at the moment. Nothing's scaring me too much, except for Aliens area.
I'm telling you, you don't need to worry about it. I'll probably eat my words, but you don't need to worry about it.
It's just because I want it to succeed.
You're invested. You're invested.
I don't want another Phantom Seer or Red Hood or
yes,
Candy...
go down the list. Candy Flurry. Man, I miss Candy Flurry. That was so much fun.
Bone Collection. Nah, Bone Collection was
interesting.
I understand why Bone Collection got cancelled. I do. I was enjoying it. It was fun. It was pervy and it was dumb. Yeah, but I understand why it got cancelled. Absolutely. I don't know. I don't know what the series has been doing for a while. It's I don't know. It's definitely lost its footing in the last year, I'd say. Like we've spoken about it before, where it felt like the pacing got really out of whack and
slowed right down, hasn't it?
Well, it just actually felt more the opposite. It felt like the pacing accelerated really hard. It was like Horikoshi was just done. He was like, "I'd wrap it up." That, or he just had an editor that came on and was backseat drawing or something. I don't know. It was noticeable change, and it really hasn't kind of gotten its feet back since. It's still good. It's just not
almost like he's gotten bored. He's gotten bored of it.
Yeah. It's like, personally, I would have put My Hero at like an 8. It has its issues. The last kind of varies between like a 5 at its lowest. But it's very up and down. And if there was a few things going on that felt like missed opportunities, there was another thing that happened where he was like, "Oh yeah, that was a plot point that I needed to fix up." I don't know, just some Australian dude, thousands of kilometers away, speculating on a series about a dude that doesn't even know I exist. So
that's what we're here to do. We speculate everything.
But yeah, I think that will wrap up this episode of Read This Way, episode 21. Thank you for everyone for joining in. Trossie and Jack, thanks for commenting so much. It was awesome for you guys to catch us live. And yeah, make sure you like the video, subscribe and get notified to when our videos will be dropping. And share these videos with your friends as much as you can. Let us know what you want out of these episodes or our live streams, and if there's any other content you would like to see from us, let us know on Twitter, Instagram, or in the comments down below.
Yes.
I think that's all the
what he said. Man, I keep forgetting it's the other way around.
I know, it's mirrored. Thanks. Shut up, Jack. Thanks, Pussy.
Yes, stupid Jack.
Alrighty. We will be back on the 26th of October. So join us then at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And we have been Read This Way. I have been Brad, and he's been Logan.
I have been, and he's been Brad.
Well, mostly this way.
Yeah, mostly me.
It's messing me up now. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, we're out.